Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Baluchandra. We start off today's bulletin with the state of Karnataka. The hijab row has erupted yet again, and this time from Mangalore University, because yesterday an advisory had been passed by the Mangalore University to its students about wearing uniforms and not allowing hijabs inside the classrooms. There's information that's come in. It says that a group of girls wearing hijabs have turned up at the university campus today. Now, the university then subsequently denied them permission to attend classes or make use of the library facilities with hijab. Now, in a meeting convened by the College Developmental Council with the Vice Chancellor, Principal and members of the Syndicate of Mangalore University, it was decided that the Karnataka High Court order, which is dated the 15th of March, which essentially says that hijabs will not be allowed inside classrooms, will be enforced. This is what the Mangalore University has said. Now, the Karnataka High Court had earlier enforced the uniform and restricted wearing of hijabs in classrooms in March 2022. Moving on to another story now. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation has fined IndiGo 5 lakh rupees for denying boarding to a specially abled child at the Ranchi airport earlier this month. Now, in a statement, the DGCA has said, and I quote, "It's been observed that the handling of the special child by the IndiGo ground staff was deficient and ended up exacerbating, the situation," end quote. Now, the DGCA had earlier formed a 3-member team and initiated a probe as well soon after this incident. This incident was first reported by a fellow passenger on Facebook. It also added that a more compassionate handling would have smoothened nerves, calmed the child and avoided the need for this extreme step, resulting in denied boarding to the passengers. Now, to give you a bit of a context, on the 9th of May, the boy was denied permission to board the Ranchi-Hyderabad flight as he was, this is what the airport authorities had said, visibly in panic, end quote. Now, as the boy was prohibited from boarding, his parents who were accompanying him also decided to not enter the plane. This incident was subsequently posted on Facebook. Also in the news, yesterday we told you that the NCB has given a clean chit to Aryan Khan and 5 others in the drugs on cruise ship case. The NCB's chief, SN Pradhan, has now said that the Narcotics Control Bureau did not find corroborative evidence against actor Shahrukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, in a case about the alleged seizure of drugs on a cruise ship. Now, this comes after a day after the NCB cleared 6 people, including Aryan Khan, of charges in this case. On the 2nd of October, Aryan Khan, his friend Arbaz merchant, model Munmun Damecha, and 5 others were arrested by the Narcotics Control Bureau after a raid on a cruise ship off the coast of Mumbai. Now, on the 28th of October, the Bombay High Court granted bail to Aryan Khan, merchant and Damecha, observing that there was no evidence of a conspiracy among them. Now, Aryan Khan and 5 others have now been cleared from this case. In the meantime, Maharashtra State Nurses Association has said that over 15,000 nurses of state-run hospitals have decided to go on an indefinite strike from Saturday. They are protesting against the state government's decision to outsource the recruitment of nurses to a private agency. Now, the General Secretary of this association has said that if the recruitment of nurses is outsourced, they will be vulnerable to exploitation and receive lower remuneration. Now, the association has also asked for payment of nursing and education allowances to its members. Now, according to the association, the centre and some states pay nursing allowance of about 7,200 rupees. They're saying that the benefit should be extended to nurses in Maharashtra as well. Also, India has condemned the Organization of Islamic Cooperation's comments related to J&K separatist leader Yasin Malik's life imprisonment sentence. Now, earlier on Friday, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation had condemned Malik's sentencing and had described the trial as a sham. Now, it had also claimed that Malik was kept under inhumane conditions in prison. Now, Malik was sentenced to life imprisonment on Wednesday. in a terror funding case by a special national investigation agency court in Delhi. The court had also imposed a fine of 10 lakh rupees. Now, Arindam Bakshi, who is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, has said that the world seeks zero tolerance against terrorism and urged the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to not justify it in any manner. Meanwhile, news coming in from Punjab. According to a PTI report, Punjab police has said that the security cover of 424 Punjab residents, including police officers, MLAs, and religious and political leaders, was temporarily removed because of an emergent law and order duty. However, it's not yet clear what the emergency duty was. Now, several Punjab MLAs, including the ones from Congress, AAP, and Akali Dal will not be given security until further notice. Now, Punjab Chief Minister has said, and I quote, "Earlier, police personnel were deployed outside the houses of politicians while police stations used to lie vacant. I think the security of the people of Punjab is more important than the security of few people," end quote. On to international news. WHO has now said that the number of monkeypox cases has reached 219 outside of countries where the virus usually circulates. Now, it is also warned of more cases in coming days. Monkeypox is an endemic in 11 countries in West and Central Africa. Fever, muscle ache, lesions, and chills are the common symptoms of monkeypox in humans. Meanwhile, an update on Sri Lanka. India yesterday handed over 25 tons of medical supplies worth over $700,000 to Sri Lanka. Last month, India had extended an additional $500 million credit line to help Sri Lanka import fuel because it's facing massive shortages. And this is mostly because Sri Lanka is going through its worst ever economic crisis since independence. And before we wrap up this bulletin, we have two pieces of good news coming in from India. We start off with what's happening at the Cannes Film Festival. Delhi-based filmmaker Shaunak Sen's documentary, All That Breathes, has now won the Ludo at the Cannes Film Festival. Now, the documentary follows the lives of two brothers who have dedicated their lives to save the migratory black kites. Now, it was India's only entry at the Cannes Film Festival and has now won as well. Earlier, All That Breathes had won the World Cinema Grand Jury Prize documentary at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival as well. There's one more piece of good news before we wrap up this bulletin. Author Geetanjali Shree's Hindi novel Tomb of Sand has now become the first book in any Indian language to win the International Booker Prize. Now, the book was originally written in Hindi by Geetanjali Shree and was translated into English by Daisy Rockwell. Now, the Hindi title was Ret Samadhi. The International Booker Prize comes with £50,000, which is going to be split equally between the author and the translator. Now, the book is about an 80-year-old woman who slips into a deep depression after the death of her husband and then resurfaces to gain a new lease for life. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.